Hello, our viewers, and welcome back to Marriage and Bliss, our show on Elevate TV. We are thankful that you are here. Tunashukuru sana. So tonight we want to speak on a very sensitive topic. Marriage starts on a very high note, and most of the times is we get waves along the way, we get issues along the way. Some get sick, some get retrenched, and these issues come and go, and most of the times we are not sure how to go about it. So today we are here with a wonderful couple that has gone through a patch in sickness, and they have stood together, and they stood together as a family and went through it. So tonight, help me invite our wonderful guests tonight. A wonderful couple that is here today and is going to be speaking to us on the lessons that they have learned so that we all learn together. So karibuni sana, Bwana
Thank you.
Elias.
Thank you. My name is Elias Chege Kemani. I'm born again. I love the Lord.
Oh, my name is Margaret Chege. Chege is him. And I'm born again. I love the Lord so much. And I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, wonderful. So thank you very much for honoring our invitation
Thank you.
coming to us today so that you can just share the lessons that you have learned. We are really grateful. So today I want you to just tell us just a glimpse of what you have been through, because I know you have had a story in matters sickness and health. When we are doing our vows, we all say in sickness and in health. But most of the times when you get to that sickness part, it is not very easy to just take it through. So I will allow, because you were the one who went through, I think I will allow you to just give us a glimpse of what you had. And maybe Elias will also give us a glimpse of the take that he took.
Wow. Okay, I think I would want to begin by saying it is not only sickness, even financially we were tested. I think the moment we got married, like 6 months later, my husband was actually retrenched from where he was. And another 6 months later, he also lost his job again. So it's not just sickness. Also financially, we were at a place where I also lost my shop. I had a shop in town and I lost it. Within that time, that is 2017, we got married in 2016. That is 2017. We also lost our shop, lost his job. So we were at that place where we don't have anything. And then now 2018 came, I was expectant, and the whole year we don't have a job, we don't have nothing. We can't actually tell how we went through 2018 because none of us had a job. There's house rent, there's food, there's all that, and we had none of those. Wow. And then comes November 5th when I'm supposed to deliver and other things follow. Sickness came and I went through a hard labor. For 16 hours, I was laboring. Yes, and I had been induced and nothing came. After I was up to 10 centimeters, no baby. Like my baby was stuck. I'm in so much pain. I don't even know what to do. I can see doctors everywhere running, others, trying to help me with everything they can, and there I am, my baby is stuck. I'm almost dying. And then finally there's this lady who came and said, you know what, if we keep her longer than this, we're going to lose both of them. Wow. And so that is how I was rushed to theater. And I thought that, now we are done. My baby has come and I was so happy. And I didn't know this is just the beginning of many surgeries that I will have to endure. And so after I had my CS done, I noticed that in the ward, like several days later, everybody else is bending, able to pick their stuff. The first days you are assisted to even, get out of bed and all. But at this point, I can't bend. I can't do the usual things everybody is doing. So I know something must have been wrong with me. But again, I had pains on both of my sides. Wow. So I was in so much pain. Most times I used to just sleep, And there were times my friends would try to help me, like lie on my side. It didn't work. There was so much pain on both of my sides. And of course, doctor would say probably acidity, so they will give me those medicines. I would say again, probably your painkillers are not as strong, so they would add me painkillers. But one of those days when I'm coming from breastfeeding my son, who was again in nursery because he too, of course, developed complications from that. So imagine I am coming from breastfeeding him, helping myself, and then my wound burst. Like I just saw pus and lots of other things like blood, and I was like, okay, what is happening to me? So thank God, I just went to the bed and then came back. The first person I met was actually a doctor, and I didn't know, and she knew me and all that. So she was quick to help me, and then she said this is an infection and all. I didn't know actually the discharges that I had been having for a few days before that, and the cold that I had been feeling and all that were signs of an infection. So she quickly tried to, like cut the wound and all that, try to squeeze the pus out. It came out, but just leaking. So she said, oh, it doesn't look like it's that bad. I didn't know after that, my wound would become worse. I'm not improving. My pulse rate is going so high as 150.
Wow.
I had never seen, like, did you even know you can actually see your heart beating at times? I could see my heart beat.
Wow.
Like, literally, I used to see my heart beat so hard. I'm feeling cold, all those, signs of fever and all, and infection. And it seemed like my infection was so high. And then, of course, they had to remove the pus, go to the lab and do a culture, which now they found what exactly was the issue. But they also noted, in as much as they were trying to treat that bacteria, I was not improving at all. So they said, I think we need a scan to understand what is happening to my stomach, And after they did the scan, they realized there's some flea fluid, like everywhere. They don't know what fluid it is, but basically my tummy had a lot of fluid. So that meant, okay, usually they say some fluid may dry up, like if just leaking. But now in this case, it was a lot, and it needed to be removed. That means you go back to theater. So I went back to theater, and I have not told you, in between, my wound had been left open, like ile parting, they cutted, they left it open. So every 4 hours or so, you have to be washed. No, show you evil, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, you are cleaned so that it doesn't become more infectious, So I go back to theater, and guess what they do? They open up the wound again. So it's like a repeat surgery on the same place. I don't know. Yeah. And of course, it was very painful. After you wake up is when you feel the pain. But even worse, hawakufunga, they leave it open, because they noted what happened when they went to theater. They actually discovered that I had a liter of pus. It literally like splashed on them, the surgeons. They opened my tummy and they could not even believe it. Everything was in a mess. Intestine, everything was in a mess. Uterus, everything was just messed up.
Wow.
So they had to clean. They said they used 8 liters of water to clean the mess. 8 liters of water to clean the mess inside.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Elias, this is a story and a half.
Yeah.
I know for her, she was getting the physical pain.
Yeah.
But I can imagine being her husband and being there for her, you were feeling the emotional and sometimes even the physical pain at one point or another.
Yeah.
For you, what is the highlight of all that happened in the hospital? Having gone back to theater severally, what is the highlight that you would give for that experience?
Wow. Number one, I begin with having had such a tough year. At one point, I would pause and tell God, now this is happening to us, having lost a job. Like she said, I lost a job twice.
Wow.
6 months after I got married, 3 days later, I got another job. Then close to December 2017, I lost a job again.
Wow.
So we were beginning 2018 without a source of income. Number one, that is, as a man, you find fulfillment when you go out there and provide for the family. So you can imagine having gone through that, and now we're in the hospital. Yeah. My wife used to exercise a lot. So you are just praying and hoping that we are going to have a smooth delivery. And here we are, this happens. I had many highlights, but I think the most that I really cherish up to today, and when I look at my son, at times I feel like I can cry, was when, number one, I saw my son. I had this expectation that once my son is brought to me, I'm going to hold him and pray over him. That was my desire, and that was what I prayed for. But when he was brought after theater, I almost ran away. I couldn't identify the boy. He was dark.
Wow.
And then they call it meconi or something, where alikuwa memeza.
That.
Yeah, the dart, you know. So ilikuwa inatoka. And then he was panting, he was breathing so hard.
Wow.
So, and they told me the score is 3 out of 10. So I actually just stood from afar. I prayed for him, you know. Then the other highlight was when my wife was so bad. And I decided, you know what, let me go to the church chapel. And I didn't have words to pray. But I remember I began praying at 8. And by the time I was done, it was 3.
Wow.
Yes. And all I remember saying was, God, please don't take away my wife.
Wow.
Those are the only words I remember for all that period I prayed. And I thank God.
Wow.
If you ask the doctors, they say they have never seen someone having such an infection and then recovering.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had so many highlights, but at least that one where I went to the chapel and knelt and cried to God. You know, you stand on behalf of your family as a man. That was the major highlight in that period that they were in the hospital.
Wow.
Yes.
That was quite something. Having lost several things before even getting to this part of being tested. I think for you were tested in all ways.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you stood firm and proved that it is actually doable. I believe that sometimes you felt like giving up.
Yeah,
in the process, because having lost 2 jobs, and now all this is happening when you two do not have an income, you are not sure where you're going to go next. Hospital bill is also piling up, and you're seeing, like, now I am losing my wife, I am losing my child. What was the motivation that you had that kept you going, even in the moment when you felt like giving up, when things were not going the way you would have wanted? What was the motivation behind it?
Wow. We had so many highlights because even before they went to hospital, number one of the major motivations we had was the fact that you don't have rain from January to December. Every season comes to an end. Okay? So that was always at the back of my mind. But it would stretch because we began January without me having a job. So I was just praying and telling God, I hope January will not end before I get something. January came, passed. February came, passed. March came, and passed. So you can imagine you haven't paid rent for 3 months.
Wow.
If it's food, we look back and we don't know how we survived, by the way. I know, but the other motivation we got was the fact that God answers prayers. I can tell you for a fact, there's one instance, we have so many examples. There's one instance, I remember, we decided to stay in the house and we had 3 days of fasting. By the time it was Friday, just when we finished the fast, it was around 4. Stima zikakatwa. You know?
Wow.
And here we are, my wife is pregnant. At times you don't know what to eat. So we were supposed to come for Kesha, for praise and worship Kesha here.
Yes.
So I told my wife can go for a sleepover to a friend's place. So I was left behind to prepare, then come for Kesha.
Yes.
I remember kneeling inside our house and telling God, if you want to go and back up on Sunday, kindly, I pray that you send someone to come and pay our lights because I want to iron our clothes. So, but if you come for the praise and worship backup, at least I'm presentable. So I went for the Kesha. We had a wonderful time. By the time I was leaving in the morning, someone had called my wife 7 times.
Wow.
Yes. They were like, I have not slept.
Wow.
I have this 2,000. I just feel I need to give you guys.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Actually, I was buying a phone. Nikabakisha 2,000. So this 2,000, just do whatever you want to do. Yeah. So I don't know how we managed to, the balance for the electricity was 3,500. So we paid. And I had a wonderful time on Sunday. That's one instance. The other instance of where we say God indeed answers prayers. There's a time we slept. We didn't know what you're going to take for breakfast.
And I'm expectant.
Yeah, she's expectant.
Wow. And that is when she's expected to eat well.
It's quite something. So I told her, you know what? You can go and sleep. So I just put on my laptop, had some worship music, and I prayed. I prayed all the way up to around 3. Someone can watch it on the lale. When we woke up, I think we woke up at 9. Somebody had sent me 500 shillings.
Wow.
In the morning.
Wow.
A church member. Na tulikuwa tu tunasalimiana tu, hi. Nobody had told what we were going through at that time. So I called him the following morning and asked him, how comes you sent me 500? Can I be to something compelled me? I believe it is not something.
Wow.
It is the Holy Spirit. That's what we took. So basically we had so many motivation. Indeed, that the season we are at will come to an end.
Sure.
Yes.
Wow. My viewers, you will agree that this is a story that is very important. It is a story that we can listen to, and you just left wow. You just wowed. For you, Maggie, I can imagine seeing him frustrated, seeing him down. You know, it is not very nice of a man having been put to the ground, and he does not know where to go next. What is the next direction to take? And every man is wired to get solutions. And at this time, he's not able to get the solutions. For you, how are you able to work with him in this period? Because most of the times, in this day and age, it is not very easy. When the man is not able to provide, and he looks like, you see now, you just newlyweds, and now everything is falling out. You're not sure, it is just starting and everything is not going well. So for you, how are you able to walk with him through the journey?
Well, okay. I think what you don't know is that even before we got married, we had tried several businesses back in campus where we met, yes, together.
Wow.
We've done lots of things. We've tried selling tea, ndomas, chapos on the roads, coffee. We've tried lots of businesses, shirts from Gikomba, diapers. We have hawked diapers for almost a year.
Wow.
So I think us being low financially was not the first time. And we had learned to pray together way back when we were courting. And we had learned to call on the name of the Lord constantly and to support each other and talk, you know, sit together and talk and ask, how are you doing? You know, share the word of God and encourage ourselves in the Lord. So even at this time when I saw him down, because I remember there's a time we sat down just to talk and he broke down. And I think at that point is when I realized my husband is not as strong as I was thinking he is. But I also began to know that God really wants me to pray for this guy. God really expects me to pray for him. He's not as strong as he may look. You know, he's not the kind of person you can tell what he is thinking. From the look, you know, like outlook, doesn't always tell what, you can't tell what he's thinking. So at that point, I realized I need to go and pray for him alone, you know? I know there are times I will even come to church, sit alone and just pray and ask God, give him the strength, give him the grace to go through this time. I know, God, that you use these things to make us to, you know, have more faith, persevere, and you're building something in us, something that will someday minister to somebody. So God, if you would only help him to hold on to this time. And God was gracious. Sometimes you can't explain what, you know, really made you hold on. You can only say it is God. So I just kept praying for him, to be honest. I just kept praying for him.
Wow. I can attest that when it gets to a man who is breaking down and getting to that point where he agrees that things are not okay. It is something that he has fought with, because most of the men, once they get into such a thing, they take themselves into a cave. And in that cave, you pull your toys together, and you are not sure you want anyone in that space. It is a space that you want to pull yourself out from everyone else. And it is not very easy to go through it. For you, Elias, she listened to the emotion that you had the moment you broke down. And she prayed for you. I don't know if you told him that you were praying for him.
we have made it a habit to tell each other that I'm praying for you.
Wow, fantastic.
Yes, we do that all the time.
It is very important. So
Sure.
for you, Elias, knowing that she's praying for you as your wife, as someone who is standing by your side, how did that make you feel and help you in going through the different phases that you went through?
Number one, it's very reassuring that we're in this together. Because when you go through such a period and you're a man, you may tend to think as though this is mine alone. You want to retreat. So when it's coming from her, she's praying for you and you can tell it. She can feel it, So it's quite reassuring that we are in this together. And I remember at one point I asked her, do you ever regret getting married to me? If you knew this is what you're going to go through, would you still? I was like, yeah, why not? It was very reassuring. I think that's what I would say. That we are here in this together. And she was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay.
Oh, I can imagine it is a painful place to be.
Sure.
Knowing that you don't have direction. And yes, you have this person. I can imagine the point that you get where you're asking, was it really right to get married? Did we rush into this thing?
Sure.
Is it something that we did to God? Is it something that we did to God?
Sure.
So that we go through all this. Did you ever get to that point where you question God? You ask him, we are praying. We have all these issues that are going through. And how do we move believing that God is still there? We really want to trust that you're still there. We really want to believe that you're still working with us, but we cannot feel you. We cannot hear you. You are not tangible enough. Did you get to that point where you ask God, are you still there? Or should we panga ourselves?
Of course. There are so many instances where I would personally break down and tell God, I don't know what you're doing, God. I can't feel you anymore. I don't know what to do. God, I have prayed. Is there a prayer I have not made? God, if you don't lift me up yourself, if you don't carry me on your shoulders, and I know that you have always done that, I can't go forward. I feel stuck. I feel lost. I feel so confused. God, is what I have gone through, because I have gone through other issues before. Was that not enough? Did I not learn the lessons, oh God? But then again, at that point, God would remind you through his word what his promises are and how true they are, how unchanging they are with times and circumstances, and I think that would just encourage me. Honestly, there were times I just would go to God and just sleep on that floor and just tell, I am waiting for you. God, I am waiting for strength from above. I am just waiting for you. If you don't strengthen me, I can't do this anymore. And it's not like I don't like to be in this marriage, but God, how do I stay here like this? Do something. Do something, just do something. At least give one of us just a job or something. And of course, at times you even begin to probe things in your life. Is it witchcraft? Is it, God, what is this? Is it somebody who spoke some evil words or something, accusations? You ask yourself, and we prayed over these matters, by the way. We had to come together and say, okay, do you think so and so accused you? Is your family, now, is there something in your family that, and of course we were also asking God, give us like direction on what is this all about? And of course there were many times we would say, let's pray about this, let's pray about this. Of course there are battles in between. But at the same time, we just kept trusting God. It was not easy, I can tell you that, folks. It was not easy at all. I used to wonder if I can ever break through, There were so many times you just used to, when will we see the other end? But God was gracious and God was faithful, and he is always faithful. And he's the one leading us and guiding us through and through, when we can see him and when we can feel him and when we can't. He is right there. That is what I have learned.
Wow. It is getting hot. It is getting hot. For you, Elias, I can imagine there were friends you had worked with from the beginning.
Yeah.
Before you got married. while you're still in campus, before you got pregnant, before all these issues came up. There were friends that you worked with. What was their value? What value did they add to you in this period? Because that period is not very easy, and you need pillars to stand by you. So what was the value they added into your life?
Wow. I would say we have a very small circle of friends, not many, because I'm not that outspoken, and at some point I value small number of friendship, not sila watu wengi. So we had a few guys that really worked with us. Somehow we wanted to keep this to ourselves, because personally I felt this is a test and we have to go through this ourselves. Somehow, by the way, we tried even hiding it from our parents. This is what you're going through, and somehow they came to know. But we can underscore the importance of friends. They came to the house, they prayed with us.
Wow.
They would call, what do you guys miss? What do you have? What do you want? Yeah, and there's one, kuna time, gas inaisha bana. Hauna kitu ya kupika. And you just call and they're like, baze, gas inaisha. They're like, let me see what to do. And I just squeezed to, just like, you guys go and buy gas. So, they were very important, by the way. They walked with us. Not once, not twice, but they came and prayed with us. I remember at one point, let me mention this, our best couple. Our mom, she came, she called my wife. And be, twende super. She was like, take anything you need.
Wow.
Literally.
She tells me she was confused because what do you take? What do you need?
Exactly. That is
because you are basically in need of a lot. So
of everything.
Yeah, of everything.
Yes.
So they walked with us. When she was in the hospital, we saw their sacrifice.
Wow.
They had them. Kijabe is far. So for you to sacrifice yourself, when daddy uko chini, it's a huge, huge sacrifice. And of course, there are them we may not have seen, but they really prayed for us.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you can attest that because when my wife came back, there are them that would see her and just break down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would just cry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we agree that there's much need for the friends.
Absolutely.
And our viewers, you will agree with us that friends are very important, and they hold us as pillars to make sure that we get to the other side. When we are losing our strength, when everything seems to be so dark, they are the light that comes over to us and gives us a good sense of belonging and somewhere that we can pour our hearts out. So we are going for a break now. But when we come back, we want to hear this story next. We want to just get into it deeper and deeper and realize, was there family members that thought that you guys mkona shida, there's something that happened. So don't touch that dial, keep it Elevate TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. Elevate TV Kenya is where we are. See you after the break.